The Brooks Glycerin Max dropped last month, and Brooks might have finally figured out how to make a nice cushioned trainer. As an ex-D1 athlete, now elite marathoner, I have already run over 100 miles on this shoe, including easy runs, workouts, and a 20-mile long run. So in this video, I'm going to give you all of my thoughts about the shoe, break it down with my shoe review criteria, and break down whether or not you should buy this shoe. This is my first official unboxing of the shoe, to take the first real look at these shoes. I'm very excited to try these shoes out. My initial reactions are honestly very impressed. Look at the stack height. These things are tall, they look squishy. This is something we have never seen out of Brooks. Let's go try these on. The upper definitely feels a little bit rigid, but let's see how they feel. Okay. Presenting the Brooks Glycerin Max. Oh gosh, I'm sorry. Where'd my hat go? First, let's begin with what the shoe is actually like and its specs. To begin with, this shoe is almost exactly what it sounds like. Take the Glycerin 20 or the Glycerin 21, make it extremely tall, change the foam a little bit, and you get the Glycerin Max. It is a little heavier than some other Brooks iteration of shoes. It is 10.5 ounces or about 300 grams for the men's shoe, and a little lighter for the women's shoes. But the main feature of this shoe is its stack height. That's right, 45 millimeters, which means it is illegal for racing. Now we'll go more into whether or not you'd actually want to race in this shoe anyway, a little later in the video. And with that tall stack in the heel, it has a 6 millimeter drop and a nice rocker to help propel you forward. And it features a new foam from Brooks that they call the DNA Tuned. It's another one of those nitrogen infused foams that they've been doing for the last handful of years. And they advertise this as exclusively a road shoe that is meant to be a max cushion trainer. All right, I'm here at the famous Lake Loop in Provo, Utah. I have got with me my Brooks Glycerin Maxes, and I am ready to get this workout rolling. Time to put them to the test. Let's see if you can run fast in them. Let's do it. Okay, I am laced up. Time to take my first run strides in them to see what I get, huh? See how it goes. I don't know what I was expecting. All right, I just finished first few miles in these. I got about 4 miles of a warm-up in for my workout. And first impressions are, they are really comfortable. They've got some nice cushion, though it's not as much cushion as I'm used to feeling in some other brands of shoes. I think I was expecting a little more. That being said, the first mile felt stiffer, and they kind of seemed to loosen up as I got going. But overall, I give them like a B+ first impression. Today, I'm doing a fartlek. It's gonna be 4 minutes. First at about 5 flat per mile, so that's about 3:07 per kilometer. Then a 2-minute off at about 7-minute pace, then 2 minutes on at about 4:50 per mile, so about 3 flat per kilometer, and then 2 minutes off again, easy. And then I'm gonna repeat that 4 times. So I'm really gonna get these put to the test. Let's see how they feel. Alrighty, just finished the fartlek wearing the Brooks Glycerin Max. First impressions are not the best shoe to run workouts in, okay? I hit the paces as I intended, but I did feel like I had to work much harder than I normally do in a super shoe. I might even say about 10 seconds per mile or about 7 seconds per kilometer slower than if you're wearing a good flat or super shoe. Now, in terms of comfort, they feel pretty good. They feel definitely more cushion the faster you're going. They feel plenty tall with a good stack height, but not the best shoe for workouts. Probably will not do another workout in these shoes. And the long run, I did a 20-mile long run averaging around 6:20 per mile, which is, I don't know what that is in kilometers. I guess I'll just throw it up on the screen. In any case, that went really well. It felt nice for the whole time. Again, I don't know that I could roll really fast, but The shoes feel fantastic for long extended efforts, and I'm really pleased with how they felt for that long run. Okay, I'm in the middle of a morning run here as I'm hitting 100 miles on these shoes. And the thing that I have to say, both with the workout and with the long run early in these shoes, I realized that I really did not like them for running faster paces, but I've really enjoyed them for these easy recovery runs. And again, yeah, I'm hitting 100 miles here, and they feel identical as when they did at the start. So again, I think they are great for the purpose that they're serving, but really not the best for running faster. All right, I'm gonna keep my run going.
First thing you'll notice is that not every category has the same number of total possible points. Most notably, the midsole contains most of the points. And then I've broken each category into more distinguished categories, which sum to a total of 100 possible points.
The upper. First, talking about this upper, it scored very well. Almost a perfect score. It is a very comfortable upper, but keep in mind that it is much thicker and a little bit more rigid than you might be used to with some other daily trainers. If you take a look at this, you can see just how thick and rigid it really is. It features also a pretty thick tongue. It is not one of those gusseted tongues here, so worried about that. It could slide around. I've never had any issues. And bonus points, if you know me, I love the quote slippability of a shoe. I tend to tie a shoe exactly one time and then slip my feet in and out every time I want to run in them. And the way that this heel is shaped is actually perfect, and my foot slides in and out no problem, and also holds a good lockdown. One thing I should point out is because of the rigid nature of the upper and in the heel area, I did get a little bit of irritation just from a little too much pressure in the back of my ankle. I only noticed that during the long run, nothing else, and it was very minor, but that is the reason I took away 1 point for the upper. The midsole. Time and time again, I will preach. The midsole is the most important part of a shoe, and that is why it's worth the vast majority of the points in my shoe review criteria. Beginning with the cushion, this is advertised as a max cushion shoe, and it is for sure the most cushioned Brooks shoe I've ever had. That being said, it does not compare to the amount of cushion you get from some other brands. It is not the softest shoe you'll ever wear. I found it to be a little firmer than I was first anticipating it would be, but still a nice amount of cushion that is a nice contrast from some of the other Brooks shoes I've worn, such as the Glycerin or the previous versions of the Ghost. This one does provide much more cushion than those. You can also feel with the height, you can just feel that extra squish distance that you get just from having that extra stack height. In terms of response, it's not the most responsive, but this is a pretty responsive shoe. I think that their new nitrogen-infused foam is meant to be a little bit springier.
And when you squish the foam, you can feel just a little bit of give back.
So for a trainer, I gave it a decent score for response. It really does perform well. Of course, this is a true daily trainer. It has no plate inside. I've heard that they infuse the nitrogen into the foam slightly differently from the back to the front to try and give you more cushion in the back and response in the forefoot. I can't necessarily say I could feel that difference, but take that for what you will. And finally, in terms of durability, it's really hard to see anything visual in the shoe. It looks still about the same as when I first put them on. And as far as how they feel identical. 100 miles may not be enough to tell you the true durability of the shoe, but it feels like this shoe is going to give you at least 500 miles. I anticipate I might be able to push these up to 600 or 700. The outsole. There's not a lot to say about outsoles here. This is exclusively a road shoe, and that is how it is advertised. And that said, it actually has quite a bit more definition than I'm used to seeing on daily trainers. It's also a pretty thick outsole. See if we can get that to focus. Focus. So I gave this full points. This is going to accomplish everything that you need from an outsole. And also Brooks outsole material tends to be pretty durable. I expect this to last as many miles as you need to get out of the shoe. And I don't imagine you having many traction issues either. Whole shoe. What can I say? This thing is a bit of a brick. This is one of the heavier trainers I've ever worn, and you can tell when you put it on. They spared no expense in the upper material and in, putting foam into this midsole and in the outsole. It feels as though they didn't really focus too much on the weight because they were really going for max cushion and durability. and they accomplish those things at the expense of the weight. When I ran that workout, I mentioned that it felt like it's maybe adding up to 10 seconds per mile or 7 seconds per kilometer in a hard, threshold type effort. And I think a lot of that has to do with how heavy this shoe is. It's pretty noticeable. And for that reason, it scores bad points on the weight. And as far as how it looks, I actually really think this is a slick shoe. I like wearing this thing around. It's kind of got a nice style to it with the way that the foam, does a swoopy thing. And sorry, it doesn't actually matter that much. Great points. So, with all that in mind, should you buy this shoe? That depends. As with many decisions, I cannot tell you a simple yes or no answer. And that's because this shoe comes in at $200, or about 180 pounds. Now that's a pretty steep price for a daily trainer. It is comparable though to some other shoes that are similar, such as the Asics Superblast that also is priced the same. But it is definitely more expensive than your typical daily trainer, which typically ranges in the $130 to $160 or 120 to 150 pounds. So you are paying for the extra stack height and that extra max cushion and hopefully extra durability, which I believe you will get from this shoe, but I can't say that for sure given I've only run 100 miles on them. Also keep in mind that this is not a shoe that you're going to want to wear in workouts or in races. You're buying a shoe that is exclusively good for easy running and maybe long run. You're paying for the mileage, okay, not for the performance, if that makes sense. All that said, this is ultimately a brand new experience you can't get from any other shoe from Brooks, and it really is innovative from them, and I'm excited for what they have coming in the future because this was a huge step in the right direction. If you're looking for shoes with a smaller budget, I would recommend not buying this shoe. It is not necessary to get something like this and to spend the extra 70 bucks that it would take to get this crazy amount of cushion. I would just recommend going to some other simple trainers. You can look back on my channel. I've reviewed some great trainers in the past that are much cheaper options than something like this. On the other hand, if you do have the money and you want to try the new experience that Brooks has to offer, why not? This is a fantastic shoe. I really do enjoy running in this one, and I do find myself excited to grab it for those easy runs. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed and that I provided some information for you to help you in your decision to decide if you want to buy the new Brooks Glycerin Max. Thanks so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.